This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map Volcano Struggle, and welcome to the finals of the Vanilla Mania 1v1 tournament. This is a best of 7 between the cyan nod on the left side, it's KiMOsaBE, and the green screen on the right side, it's MasterLeaf. We just came out of the semi-finals. You can, of course, go check out those games if you want. I casted MasterLeaf versus Tiberian Future. I bet you can't guess how that one ended, as we do indeed have a bit of a Shadow Team rush coming out from MasterLeaf, a.k.a. KiMOsaBE. And I have to kind of admit, I almost like MasterLeaf even more as a name. It's just so funny. It's funny indeed. It is going to be into... Oh, where's that Shadow Team? I'm not actually sure. It is a little bit further ahead. Oh, MasterLeaf can he actually... No, he cannot. He cannot get that Engineer. At the same time, MasterLeaf has indeed gone for the triple Engineer opening, because there's one safe Tib Spike and then two kind of contested Tib Spikes, but MasterLeaf got the Tib Spike for himself, which of course means that MasterLeaf has to hold this Tib Spike for 50 seconds for it to pay off. Almost a minute. And of course, MasterLeaf, that rascal, did indeed get the cashback bonus. Now actually, Grey Goo, at the time of recording this, just came out a couple days ago. And it's alright. It's a game, you know. It exists. But it's also, I've been finding, a good bit of fun. I do enjoy it, I have to admit. And actually, I do forget, I don't remember exactly when this update occurred, but there used to be big bridges here. And the bridges have been replaced with a little bit of a ramp and then a land bridge. I think the bridge used to go from this high ground all the way across. I can't quite remember. I think these paths went under it. Instead now, it's going to be a land bridge. That was a change. I feel like it was made a little while ago, but that is beside the point. And of course, MasterLeaf. Is he just going, okay. So he's just dealing with the Shadow Teams. That's why his expansion is delayed. He has to build those extra power plants. He has to rebuild the power plants, rather. But he does have a secret tank. He's pushing it out. He's going to be able to do a little bit of damage to these harvesters. Unfortunately, the other refinery not quite here. I'm not actually sure what happened to that. He didn't expand before his second refinery. That would just be weird. I mean, it's very possible that he did. It's not actually something you really check for, because no one really goes unless they're opening up high aggro, which I guess the Shadow Teams are a little bit aggro. I guess with the Shadow Team opener, maybe you don't... Oh, he did go triple Engineer as well. Yeah, with the Shadow Team and triple Engineer opening, he probably didn't have enough cash to establish his third refinery or second refinery quite fast enough, so he's like, well, I'm going to have to move my MCV soon anyways, so I might as well move my MCV in this downtime where I don't really have enough cash to go for the refinery anyways. Which is just fine. I mean, as long as that's the reason why it happened. Scorpion tank taking a little bit of damage from the lightning spike. Harvester moving on out to the right, or to the northern side of the map. KiMOsaBE opening up after that Shadow Team. He's continuing to be a little bit macro. MasterLeaf, on the other hand, trying desperately to deal with these Shadow Teams. But Shadow Teams kill buzzers so quickly. It's just ridiculous how quickly they kill buzzers. And of course, without Gunwalkers here, I mean, he's going to have a hard time really dealing with these Shadow Teams. If they take the skies, the Seekers can deal with them a little bit more effectively. But until then, KiMOsaBE is just doing a really good job of dealing with MasterLeaf, actually putting some good pressure on MasterLeaf. Now, KiMOsaBE going to have to deal with a couple of these dev tanks moving through the middle of the map, but MasterLeaf is stopping to kill that garrisonable structure, which has bought a lot of time for KiMOsaBE. KiMOsaBE starting to pump out bikes, and he's also going to be having the Hand of Nod. Will he actually be using this for the defense? Well, that would be what I'm assuming. And KiMOsaBE, he's got the double war factory in the south, which means if anything comes up in the north, he's going to have a little bit of trouble getting units there quickly. Now, these bikes could potentially be for a bit of an MCV snipe. He may be hoping that the MCV is on the move and that he's able to get some shots off at it while it's in the air, but it's straight up to the tier 3. Fast tech, relatively speaking, for MasterLeaf. it's at least tier 3 off of that one base. And the 4 bikes, they're going to be coming in. Will they be able to do anything? Well, we'll see. MasterLeaf has had a lot of time to build stuff, and he is indeed up to that tier 3, so he can definitely put out some damage if he wants. But there's Mechapedes here already, which means these spikes most likely won't be doing too much. If they can get the snipe on the Mechapede, that would actually be really sick. Oh my gosh, they do! That bike, as it goes down, the last shot impacts on the Mechapede, cleaning it up. Some nice damage there for KiMOsaBE, able to clean up that one Mechapede. I mean, that's value for those 4 bikes, depending on how many segments that Mechapede actually had. But it's like, that's the best scenario. When you're pushing into a tier 3 scrin base, when they've already built tripods, they've already built dev tanks, when you're pushing in there, killing a Mechapede is about as good as you can ask for. Dev tank's starting to push out. MasterLeaf might actually be able to pick off a couple of these power plants. We'll see. He's moving out with a lot of the units that he has. I'm not actually sure if he's got anything back at home. Not really too much. He does have the one Mechapede. So actually, if KiMOsaBE is able to get any forces around for the counterattack, he may be able to do some damage, but he's, of course, going to be harboring as many units in home as he can for the defense. There's a mine drop. Doesn't really do a whole lot. It looks like that carcass from the Mechapede actually did stop some of those mines from being established. This is a sell-off of the air tower that was only used for that mine drop, and MasterLeaf is trying to go for the snipe on a lot of these harvesters, but it's not quite working. KiMOsaBE is responding relatively well. Some of these units are going to be getting cleaned up. I think maybe one of the harvesters ended up going down, but of course, as they start trying to dock, they will be getting revealed here, allowing the tripod and these Mechapedes to deal with those harvesters. 2 harvesters do go down, 2 still remain, and MasterLeaf may just be trashing this entire expansion. Dual War Factory down here means that the production is still all right in terms of numbers, but none of those units are up here actually fighting the forces that are attacking the base. And KiMOsaBE, if he loses this expansion, that's a pretty big deal. He doesn't have a lot of economy still on this main field to do anything with. He hasn't been able to get up his tech. He's losing all of his power plants. He may be losing his MCV as well. Of course, he can't really pack it up at this point to try to escape. It's just too late for that. There's the sell-off. And oh no, he's selling everything off. KiMOsaBE. He started out strong. He was being so annoying, but then it was a fast tech on one base for MasterLeaf, and he just went balls out, pulling pretty much every single unit in the attack there. Several Mechapedes, the tripod as well, and then packing on the few Seekers that he had. And MasterLeaf takes game number 1 in a pretty convincing fashion. KiMOsaBE not really able to put up the defense, but this is the best of 7. MasterLeaf can be defeated. We'll see how game number 2 goes. But MasterLeaf, he's looking good after coming out of that semifinal. Even KiMOsaBE's Shadow Team Rush couldn't quite put him off his paces, but KiMOsaBE, can he make it happen? Let's see how game number 2 goes. Which takes us to Tournament Airstrip and the Cyan Nod on the left side. Well, he's down 0-1. It is KiMOsaBE. And the green screen on the right side, it is MasterLeaf. Game number 2. This is where momentum can really start to shift. Yeah, 1 game in a best of 7. It's not match point like a best of 3. But of course, you never want to lose that game, that first game. Game number 2. This is where momentum can really start to shift for a player. Then it's like, if I lose 1 more game, we're at match point. We're already halfway through, you know, the potential wins for the other player. That's a little bit more daunting. But still, KiMOsaBE, he's a solid player. I don't know that he's actually won a tournament either. Now, MasterLeaf only really has the 1 tournament win. He did technically win last month Ladder Wars, but that's not quite the same as his premier 1v1 win, which is, of course, the Kane's Wrath 2014 World Championship, which was definitely his biggest win and his most exciting win. Wow, that Supersonic Fighter, I don't know that I've ever actually clicked on it before. Cool-looking little model, though. That point aside, I mean, I don't know if that's all that important, but KiMOsaBE, he's going for the Buggy Scout, not going for anything crazy. He tried the Shadow Team Rush last game. Of course, that was more, I feel like that was more to support his Engineer grabs, but I mean, this game he could have gone for the contested spike in the middle. He decided not to. Just going for the safe spike, but he's not doing anything crazy this game. And MasterLeaf is going to be scouting that. He's even going to reveal that little harvester there. He's got the scouts going all over the place. KiMOsaBE is most likely running into the base at some point. I'm not actually sure where the buggy went, but it's probably somewhere on the map. I don't know where. He should be scouting with it. He's probably going to be seeing the expansion timing, or at least he should be seeing the expansion timing sooner or later. There's the buggy in the middle of the map. And KiMOsaBE actually already starting to go for that blue tib. He definitely doesn't want to lose this harv, but it's already down to below half HP. He doesn't actually have any units coming to rescue it. That's actually pretty bad here. Oh, that's rough. I mean, some players say losing an engineer early on is pretty much GG at that point. Is losing that harvester pretty much GG at this point? Of course, not exactly. You can always come back from a single harvester kill. But it's just going to be that little bit harder. You've got that eco. You don't have that eco that you were planning on. He still does have that 5 and 2 ratio. He's got healthy saturation on his main field. Maybe his natural expansion is a little bit delayed. And, of course, if he even throws this down, he doesn't want the harvester to come out with the seeker right there. KiMOsaBE gets the scout off. He's going to be saying, okay, maybe I'm a little bit behind in economy. Maybe a little bit behind in tech as well. But as long as he can push these seeker tanks away, as long as he can buy himself a little bit more time, he's going to be able to claw his way back into that equal ground footing. And, of course, Nod, they've got some powerful, powerful unit combinations. MasterLeaf, of course, has been performing very well in this particular tournament. And, I mean, he's just like a full step and a half ahead of KiMOsaBE. He's got his economy established a lot faster on his natural expansion. KiMOsaBE, he's behind, unfortunately. Now, DevTank's starting to come out, and KiMOsaBE, he needs to buy, of course, that bit of time. But MasterLeaf isn't necessarily looking to be super aggro at this point. MasterLeaf can play this out a couple of ways. Of course, when you're ahead and you realize it, which he most likely does since he's had the seeker tank. He's had a seeker tank down here for quite some while. And he's actually going to be getting the second scout off here with the buzzers. He's going to be like, oh, you still only have one refinery? I mean, MasterLeaf, he's got tier 2. He's got upgrades coming out. I mean, he even bought attenuated force fields again. And he's going to start harvesting this middle blue. Now, if KiMOsaBE can snipe down this harvester, it's going to be nice. It's not necessarily going to be game-winning by any means, but it's certainly going to be nice. MasterLeaf comes back in. 2 seeker tanks, not as big of a deal to worry about. It's more when you start getting up into like the 5-6 seeker tank range that you need to be a little bit more worried. Stasis chamber comes down as well, which means, oh, MasterLeaf, he can use the one-clicks. He can go for that stasis chamber on some of the buildings to try to lock things down. We'll see, though, if that's what he's going for. He does have dev tanks packed on as well. Now, KiMOsaBE, he's got something cute. It is going to be the operations center. He is going tier 2. Of course, he can go dozer blades out of that. And he's also going to have a bit of a hallucinated army, but a couple of his Scorpion tanks are getting caught in that mix, and he would love to have this DPS right here, right now. Now, the air tower is coming down. If he gets a great mine drop, he may be able to shut down this army. A good drop there, but is it going to be enough to finish off these Seeker tanks? Of course, Seekers do reveal the mines, and then they can clean those mines up without too much trouble. And considering that KiMOsaBE's army, half of it at least, was locked down in that stasis chamber for so long, these tanks have got so many shots off, and now KiMOsaBE is going to be completely cleaning this army up, completely destroying that army. But of course, he had to drop money on the mine drop. He had to drop money on the air tower, which he promptly sold off, so it wasn't really too costly for him. Only that 500 credits for the air tower after the sell-off. But oh, he's actually been losing harvesters up here in the north, potentially even lost a refinery or forced to sell it off. Oh, KiMOsaBE, he's getting pulled apart a little bit here. I mean, he's getting attacked down here. He rallies the defense in the south. He gets attacked up here. He has to pull his forces up north. And MasterLeaf, he's just been unhit pretty much this entire game. Basically, no damage has gone off on MasterLeaf. He's even potentially been able to grab a little bit of this blue Tiberium, and even if he wasn't able to grab any earlier, he's going to be able to grab it now. He's establishing himself a third base on this map, and KiMOsaBE has barely even been able to saturate his natural expansion. He's hardly been able to harvest very much from his main base. He is dropping the holograms, which is nice. It absorbs a couple of shots there from those Seeker tanks, allows his other units to survive that little bit longer. But again, KiMOsaBE is starting to get pulled in a couple of different directions. He has to deal with attacks on multiple fronts. He's trying to push out with Scorpion tanks, which if he's able to catch out the drone ship, that would be really nice, but that's asking a bit too much. MasterLeaf can, of course, just fly it off. And it may be time for some sort of MCV cell tactic. And, of course, with the war factories and with the natural expansion, KiMOsaBE is going to have a reasonable amount of eco and production. So the MCV cell may not be the only thing that he needs. But it's also not enough to justify him staying in this game, as maybe was that a premature sellout or a premature GG? You could argue that it was, but again, he was behind in so many ways in that game. Just 7 minutes and 50 seconds, just under, I guess he's, only like 5,000 credits, well, 4,000 credits a minute behind his opponent. Not too big of a deal, only took big economic damage. 33,000 credits of difference in less than 10 minutes. Ooh, that hurts. Unfortunately, KiMOsaBE not able to make it happen. MasterLeaf, I mean, if you count the semifinals, he's currently 5-0 in maps. That's a pretty good score. Now, KiMOsaBE again. This guy is solid. He's a solid Australian mate. Bloke. I don't know, what do Australians say? He can take games off MasterLeaf. We just haven't seen him do it yet. Game number 3 may tell a different story. Let's take a look. Which takes us to the classic tournament rift, and spawning on the left side as the blue screen, it is MasterLeaf. On the right side as the cyan nod, he needs your cheers. He's the handsome Australian KiMOsaBE. Which actually, I don't think I've ever seen KiMOsaBE, so I'm just guessing that he's handsome. We'll say he sounds handsome. And there is going to be another Shadow Team rush coming out from KiMOsaBE. No, he's not playing Blackhand. No, he's not going for Black Disciples. You fool, this is Vanilla Mania. You can't play Blackhand, you gotta play those vanilla factions. I'm actually kind of surprised that KiMOsaBE is sticking so close. Oh my word. MasterLeaf, stop being so mean with your placement. He's looking for the scouts. And actually that militant squad got the, perfect kill on that buzzer. But MasterLeaf, he's looking for the scouts. He's like, alright, how many squads did you actually go? Why do you have limited squads? And actually, if he sees, I'm not actually sure if it was a... Yeah, it might have been a Shadow Team that sniped the buzzer down here, which would have been a pretty big tell to MasterLeaf. He's like, alright, you went Shadow Team rush, you're going triple spike, double spike at least. But he's going to know that pretty much for sure. And also, KiMOsaBE went quite a few... I guess he only went 4 militants. No, he went 5, maybe even... He went 6 militants. That's a lot of militants to go for. But the buzzer gets a scout off, and of course MasterLeaf is going to know, okay, you're a little bit behind in that eco game. But MasterLeaf is also going to be protecting his power plant, and of course, with only the 2 Shadow Teams... I'm not actually sure what other buildings they kill in one fell swoop other than power plants. 2 Shadow Teams? Maybe barracks? They probably kill barracks in one swoop. I'm trying to think. I don't think anything else... I mean, Tib silos, if you want to count those. Tib silos probably get killed by 1 Shadow Team, but that's like the worst value for a Shadow Team rush. Yeah, I Shadow Team rushed and I killed a Tib silo. Pretty sick, right? And of course... Shadow Teams, as long as you keep them on the ground, they're going to survive quite a while versus those Seeker tanks. I'm actually kind of curious as to how many Shadow Teams does it take to kill a Seeker tank? Probably quite a few to kill it quickly, but Secret Tank's moving out across the map. MasterLeaf knows that it was the Shadow Team rush. He's actually going directly tier 2. Is that just going to be for the power plant upgrades before the expansion, or is he going to be trying to go for that attenuated force fields to bolster his attack? He's moving out with like 4 or 5 Secret Tanks, so this is a somewhat powerful force, but as long as KiMOsaBE has a couple of Scorpion Tanks and he's smart about his unit control, he should be able to hold this off without too much trouble. It depends on how many Secret Tanks. Actually, this is starting to get a lot of Secret Tanks. This is a lot of Secret Tanks that MasterLeaf is committing to this attack. Oh, and he mixes in the Buzzer Swarm support power as well, just to make sure that no rocket troopers are really going to be very effective, or at least not easily effective. But MasterLeaf is sitting, well, no, KiMOsaBE is sitting on that triple spike as well as this economy, which is going to be quite nice. Which means, of course, with the Scorpion tanks, even with the lightning spike, KiMOsaBE shouldn't take too much damage. Now, it looks like Militant Squad's going to be doing a little bit of poking and prodding here and there. One attack bike is going to be moving out, and that's actually kind of an interesting graphical glitch that I never quite noticed. Is that right there? You can see it. It's got the highlight as if it's behind a building. Secret Tanks cleans that up, but I think it's just because there's like a little bit of a sum right there, like invisible light. There's a little bit of a light there that you can't really even see that registers as a building and causes that, which isn't really too big of a deal. 2 harvesters full of blue Tiberium for MasterLeaf. It's going to be actually a pretty nice payoff. And considering he got his main base economy established earlier, he got his natural economy established way earlier, he's going to be feeling good about that blue Tiberium as well. It's going to help make up for the fact that he's on 2 spikes down from his opponent. Now, Secret Tanks are going to be getting pulled back. MasterLeaf hasn't lost too many of them, though. And KiMOsaBE was able to pull the pretty good defense. Now, he's doing the same thing that he did on Volcano Struggle. If you remember game number 1 of this series, maybe you skipped it, maybe you didn't, I don't know. Some people probably don't watch very much of the VOD. They maybe just want to see who won. But if you watched game number 1, then this is basically the exact same thing. I think technically there's 1 bike missing here, as maybe that was the bike that KiMOsaBE sent in earlier, but there's attenuated force fields from MasterLeaf. And actually, I feel like both of these players are doing almost the exact same thing. The difference is that on Volcano Struggle, the Shadow teams were so much more effective for KiMOsaBE. They didn't do really anything this time. MasterLeaf pushing out so many Secret Tanks being constructed, just rallied out across the map, it looks like, as he's forming just little packs of Secret Tanks, moving them out across the map, reinforcing when and where he can. Although he seems to be pooling these guys. He's not reinforcing now. Oh, there's the stasis chamber. He's going to be able to drop down that stasis chamber. I always forget what the actual support power is called. It's Stasis Shield, not Stasis Chamber, but I mean, it does kind of form a little chamber there. KiMOsaBE, once again, is going to be starting to get pulled apart just bit by bit, but this time, he's got the defenses there. He's got the Scorpion Tanks. Now, 1 Scorpion Tank gets overwhelmed. The second one gets annihilated as well, but there's too many Scorpion Tanks for MasterLeaf to really hold on in this position. Now, up north, this story might be a little bit different here, as there's only 3 Scorpion Tanks, it looks like, up here. They did clean up some of those Secret Tanks, but there's more Secret Tanks popping out. They're here for the offense, and actually one of those... Oh, no, the Scorpion Tank was not able to survive. The Bike Buggy going to be coming in, and it looks like the Descents are here for the defense, not going to be allowing that Bike Buggy to be very effective. Now, KiMOsaBE dealing with the attackers up north. He's able to deal with that without too much trouble. These 2 buggies are still in the middle of the map. I'm not actually sure why. But hey, they were still in the middle of the map. Tier 3 goes down. The Technology Assembler getting constructed for MasterLeaf. And KiMOsaBE, he needs to crack MasterLeaf's defense. But MasterLeaf is going for just this crazy Tier 1 swell. I mean, I don't think he's built like a Tier 2 unit at all in this game. I mean, he's had Tier 2 for so long, but he's just not really been doing a whole lot with it. He's been relying a lot. I guess he built the upgrade. He got the attenuated force fields upgrade. But He's been relying so much on these Seeker tanks in this series and in the last series as well, although he did mix it up with some nice Mechapede action in the last series. But again, he's doing this stuff where he just splits off a few units here and there, forcing KiMOsaBE to split his army. Part of it for the defense in the south, part of it for the defense in the north. And it's, of course, difficult for KiMOsaBE to deal with. Now, it's not a huge group of Seekers in the north, but it is a dangerous group of Seekers. And versus only the war factories pumping out Scorpion tanks, they're going to be able to easily overwhelm those small numbers of Scorpion tanks. There is a second contingency of Scorpion tanks in the south, but it's only 4. And with the Tier 3 going down, we could potentially see some avatars popping on out for KiMOsaBE. Now, whether he does that just for the defense or whether he's actually going to be looking to go really heavy into avatars, which not a lot of players do. A lot of players just don't really go for avatars very much as well. Very much. Period. Just period. Laser Scorp's going to be the choice for KiMOsaBE. He should be able to focus down this... Oh, never mind. Stasis Shield. Haha. You thought you had like 7 more, 8 even, no, 7 more Scorpion tanks. You thought you had 10. Now you've got 3. At least 3 there. I mean, you've got a lot more on the follow-up. But man, my Stasis Shield is locking down those 3 Scorpion tanks, and of course they're going to be completely surrounded. There is going to be the Engineer popping out for MasterLeaf. He gets the insta-repair, not for free, but hey, 500 credits for full health drone ship. That's going to be feeling pretty good, and of course he can draft photon cannons. It's probably a storm column coming out from MasterLeaf. And he's getting the shard launcher upgrade as well. He's going so hard into these tier 1 with upgrades. He's even packing along some Annihilator tripods, but these forces are just getting shredded. And unfortunately for KiMOsaBE, he's getting pushed back. He doesn't have a lot of Tiberium on the back end of the map to pack forward into his army. What did that even mean? I don't actually know. He drops down the War Factory right on the front lines, but the EMP, if these Annihilator tripods get in range, could lock down both the avatars and the War Factory, if that's indeed what MasterLeaf wants to go for. One of those Scorpion tanks ended up getting a little bit of a rank up. He's into... Oh! Turn around. Nope. The Avatar does go down. I'm not actually sure. I'm guessing that was just from an Operations Center sell-off from KiMOsaBE. He didn't flame down that spike. I'm not actually sure what that Black Hand Squad was actually doing. It didn't seem to have really done too much. There's a kill on the Harvester. 1 Harvester? At this stage, not too big of a deal. Although that was a Harvester with probably some blue Tiberium in it. Now, of course, MasterLeaf has been able to harvest the majority of the blue Tiberium on this map, and at the same time, he's going to be pushing forward. EMP going to be locking down probably all of these avatars. As 2 of them do get locked down. The third one may be able to escape. No, it's not able to get anywhere. They are getting repaired constantly by that War Factory, but it's not quite enough. The DPS from the Annihilator tripods would be too much if they were actually focusing down the avatars, but they're not actually doing that. Now, the Seeker tanks have been able to deal with the Obelisk for the majority of this battle, and now there's only 1 avatar left. It is going to be getting focused down, and oh! KiMOsaBE just doesn't have anything left. This was his hope. I mean, he's going to long-distance harvest some of this Tiberium, but his Scorpion tanks have been destroyed. His avatars have been crushed. He's only got a barracks on the front line, and he doesn't even have very many infantry. KiMOsaBE falling flat, and with just solid play and some devilish 1-clicks, MasterLeaf takes game number 3. Things are getting difficult. Things are getting difficult. Things are very difficult for KiMOsaBE, and fortunately for him, he has to win 4 games in a row. He has to 4-0 MasterLeaf from this point on. The reverse all-kill, call it what you like, but we have to see game number 7 if KiMOsaBE hopes to win this thing. Or MasterLeaf may take his first tournament victory in 2015. We'll find out in the next couple of games. But game number 5 takes us to Tournament Badlands, and spawning on the left side as the Cyan GDI, it is the man who's down 0-3, KiMOsaBE. on the right side as the pink scrin. The man who's been just too abusive. Is he channeling the power of Bike Rush? It could be, but it's MasterLeaf. But I mean, he had a knockout in the semifinal. He's up 3 games in the final. KiMOsaBE, he's playing his GDI, which I always associate GDI with KiMOsaBE anyways, or rather KiMOsaBE with GDI anyways. It always seems like GDI is his best faction, but he wasn't really able to make... No, actually, no, that was Tib Future playing GDI. Yeah, KiMOsaBE's been playing Nod so far, but regardless, I still associate KiMOsaBE with GDI. Can he get... No, he doesn't actually get the buzzer. That's really actually unfortunate because now these descents are going to be passing relatively unharmed. I mean, one of them has taken a fair bit of damage. The other ones are going to be pretty much completely fine. Rifleman squad's moving out all across the map, so KiMOsaBE is going to have good vision, but can he make it work on Tournament Badlands? He's been getting the map choices, but it hasn't even been mattering. Tournament Rift, you know, the map he's going to be pretty much the most comfortable on. It's certainly the most played. He wasn't able to win there. And now MasterLeaf, he's in, of course, a very comfortable position, but KiMOsaBE is not out of it yet. One Tib Spike goes down. A nice kill there for MasterLeaf. And it's like, yeah, you went triple descents. You don't have to rush in and try to kill your opponent right here, right now. Kill a couple of Tib Spikes. Why not? It's a good choice. It's a little bit safer than trying to rush in and, you know, deal with watchtowers, potential APCs, that sort of thing. And of course, KiMOsaBE, if he's clever, he might be able to bait these descents into a mine bomb. We'll see. They are moving forward. You of course always have to kite with your APC. You do not want to let those. Oh, he's got a rifleman squad inside there as well, which means he will be able to do plenty of damage. He should be able to pop that out just before the APC dies as well. No, he won't even need to. Nice cleanup there for KiMOsaBE. Saves one of his Tib Spikes. Doesn't have to take too much damage on it. At the same time, MasterLeaf, he's going kind of for that macro-oriented opener after... Well, actually, macro-oriented follow-up, I'll call it. Macro-oriented follow-up. Harvester number 6 on the way. It doesn't look like he's actually going to be... did he pull any blue Tiberium? No, it looks like the answer is no, at least not from the north. KiMOsaBE, on the other hand... You know, I saw the dot on the map, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but it can't be the MCV. No, it's definitely the MCV. He's actually going Proxy War Factory. Proxy, at least in relation to MasterLeaf's natural expansion. MasterLeaf does indeed have eyes on this. He's going triple descent, which is just a great... This is a great crisis management moment for MasterLeaf. Pred tanks getting pumped out. Descents are out on the field. And MasterLeaf, I mean, he's got so much anti-armor. It's going to be a little bit brutal. One watchtower goes down, but AP ammo has not finished. It's not going to be nearly as effective as he would like. And unfortunately for KiMOsaBE, he may not have the numbers to hold off this many descents. And on top of that, more and more descents just pouring out. The stasis shield comes down, locks down 2 of the APCs, or one of the APCs and the Predator tanks. And of course, Predator tanks cannot really effectively crush these descents. If they crush them, they're effectively just sacrificing themselves. The second War Factory goes down, but KiMOsaBE is not going to be in a very good situation. He's lost his MCV. He's lost one of the War Factories. He's going to be losing the other War Factory. He'll have no production. He'll have no capabilities of really stopping this upcoming rush. And the GG does come out from KiMOsaBE. There's the sell-off. Mackie Bob has been defeated in a clean 4-0 sweep. MasterLeaf takes the win. He is the Vanilla Mania 1v1 champion and the first Kane's Wrath tournament champion of 2015. And congratulations to MasterLeaf as we give him a little bit of clap there, and he claims his second Premier Tournament title. MasterLeaf, I mean, all he had to do was wait for Bike Rush to leave to start winning consecutive tournaments in Kane's Wrath. In 4.5 minutes, MasterLeaf secures his final spot, and KiMOsaBE, with the bit of all-in, with the bit of a base push, not able to make it happen. Better luck next time, but he still earned himself second, which he probably had to climb over some rough opponents. I believe he beat Warstorm I didn't actually see the bracket after that. I think he beat Dirty Dutch, so good on him for that. And, of course, that will do it for this event. Thank you all very much for watching, and this is Sybert signing out.